Hello, I'm Carly Ann, a self-esteem and relationship coach. Welcome back to my blog. Today, it's actually the beginning of January, so obviously it depends when you're watching this, but at the moment, it's actually a good time to talk about what happens when our motivation inevitably drops. So we can have the greatest ideas. We can think, I am going to get off the dating apps, or I'm going to get on the dating apps, or I'm going to leave this person behind me from now on. And we can have the greatest intentions and feel really motivated. And then very quickly, and actually, let me just say, this can be so many other areas of our life. It doesn't have to be just dating, right? And then what happens is our motivation starts to drop. So I thought there is no greater time to talk about this than now, but you will find this useful anytime that you're watching it. So usually, despite our best intentions and despite what we know is good for us, it doesn't take too long for our motivation to dip. So I want to give you 3 tips of how you can get back on track, but also, I don't even know about get back on track, how you can just make sure that you are living your life the way that you want to and feel motivated or feel realistic about that. I think what it is, at the core of, feeling really excited by something or empowered, and then that dipping or us losing that completely, at the core of that is that we don't know, like people weren't taught how to create long-term change in your life. We talk a lot about changing your habits, setting goals, whatever it is, but we often don't really go to that deeper level of what's really going on, of why it is that you are repeating the same patterns, even making the same mistakes, not learning the lesson, why you keep finding yourself back here time and time again. And the problem with that is it can give us, it can put us in a really negative place, because we start thinking, well, what's the point in even trying? Why am I even doing this? Maybe we won't even try again, because we just think, well, we give up. And it doesn't have to be that way if we can start to treat ourselves like the humans that we are and actually start to learn what it really takes to make change, to really understand what it is to be motivated and to experience the motivation to create the kind of life that you want for yourself, to have the relationship that you want to have for yourself. It goes deeper than just setting a goal and then thinking it's just going to change. It will be interesting what your own pattern is. Some of you will give up as soon as you feel that lack of motivation. Some of you might sort of like really white knuckle it, power through, but there's no happiness in those situations. And that's what I'm here for. If you're going to make a change, especially if you're going to work with me, I am here to make sure that you create that change with happiness included. There's no point in you doing this if you're going to feel really, really crap. We want you to feel energized, empowered, happy, strong, capable, able to handle your emotions when you don't feel that, because you're not going to feel all of that all of the time. Sometimes you're going to drop the ball. And we want to make sure that you know how to move through that, because that is a life experience. And if you don't know how to move through that, it will take you down. So whether you have set a goal to stop snapping at your partner, or to not sleep with someone so soon, or I don't know, to text someone less or more, whatever goal it is that you have set for yourself, in order to really experience that change, you've got to know it's going to be a bumpy road. You've got to know it's not going to go exactly as you want it to. That's not the way that this works. But I want it to feel as easy as possible. And I don't want you to give up when the motivation drops, because I'm telling you, the motivation is going to drop sometimes. It does. So I'm going to give you 3 tips for when you feel that self-motivation leaving. The first one is to get really serious and ask yourself, do you really want this? Is this something that you really want? Or are you trying to tick a box? Are you trying to live the way that you feel like you should be living? Are you trying to meet other people's expectations, or the expectations that you've always had on yourself that don't match the reality of your life and who you are. So ask yourself if this is something that you really want. We are so much less likely to stick to something that is unattractive to us. If it is something that you really want, go for it. Go for it even if you don't feel the motivation. But if you realise this isn't something that you want, if you explore that and you realise this isn't coming from me and who I am, then you've really got to look at that and why it is that you're trying to change something that you're not that interested in, that isn't part of who you are. Because honestly, you're wasting your precious time. And real satisfaction and happiness is going to come when you let go of shame and guilt and who you feel like you should be. My second tip is to quit expecting to feel like it. Quit expecting for the motivation. Like, quit expecting it to be and feel a certain way. If you know what you want, why you want it, your old stories, your old patterns are still going to show up. Your inner critic, your ego is still going to come after you. And the way it's going to do that is it's going to make you feel like not doing this thing. It's going to create shame for you and upset, and it's going to make you feel like you can't do it. So what you need to do is understand that even though you're feeling this stuff, even though this old stuff is being forced up, that the best way for you to get through that and to get that motivation back is to take action anyway. And my third tip is to let go of the outcome. Let go of trying to have all of the control over this area of your life. A lot of the time, the reason we lose motivation or we stop going for something is because we can't see the future and we don't know how this is going to turn out. And actually, sometimes what you've got to do is just trust yourself. Trust your intuition. Trust that something bigger is going to come from this. And I'm not saying that that's easy, and that might even be another step that you need to figure out if you're like, I don't even know my intuition. I don't even know how to go down that path. But honestly, holding on to certainty, holding on to, I must know how this is going to be before I take these steps. I'm not going to feel motivated unless I know what tomorrow looks like. Then you're going to end up staying here. Motivation isn't just going to stick around for you. You have to take the steps and lean into it and take a bit of a risk. But you can't let motivation control your life. You can't let motivation control your love life, get in the way of the changes that you want to make. A lot of the time, if you go back to tip 1, if you know that this is something that you want and that is aligned with who you are, then you can make this happen. Don't rely on motivation to get this done. Rely on yourself to take risks, to show up, to be who you want to be, and don't worry about what people are thinking or judgments or past stories. You just be you and you go for it because you deserve that.